What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of Raw, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including huge spoilers, as we now know who the fifth member is. A huge return goes down during Raw's taping. Cody Rhodes missing Survivor Series, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on Wrestlelamia XL. Now, as always, won't recap the matches, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good, as number 1, Gunther and Damian Priest verbal showdown. Raw kicked off with a promo battle between Gunther and Damian Priest, and it was confirmed that the WWE will be running the rematch between the two for the world title at Survivor Series Wargames. Now, it does come as a somewhat of a surprise that Gunther vs Priest is the plan for Survivor Series, especially when it was rumored that Gunther vs Punk was the early plan. With that being said, it's possible that WWE are planning Gunther vs Punk for either Saturday night's main event or the Royal Rumble. Whilst the reception to the match announcement has been mixed on social media, the promo exchange was strong, and the match at SummerSlam was rather underrated, so hopefully the Survivor Series match is able to deliver a strong match with a clean, decisive finish. Number 2, the New Day breakup tease. Whilst the call to potentially break up the New Day is a controversial one, the character work from both Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston is truly stellar. The two had multiple segments across Raw last night, and they're even starting to show Kingston begin to totally resent Woods. It's unclear if the WWE will go all the way with the breakup, but it's welcome that the two have finally been able to take a part in a meaningful storyline on TV, and it's hardly a surprise that both men are killing it. Number 3, solid main event. Now, the main event of Raw saw the women's tag titles get defended as Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair took on Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Cargill and Belair got the W, and it looked like the match was only in the main event slot of the show to set up the women's Wargames showdown. The post-match angle featured names such as Io Sky, Naomi, and Nia Jackson. All of these names are expected to be key figures in Wargames at the end of the month. That was a good what about the bad is number 1, No Pop Collective. WWE needs to badly switch up the presentation of the Pure Fusion Collective. Since the stable were introduced on WWE TV, they have failed to make a statement, and every single week, they're receiving zero reaction from the live audience. In an era where fans are extremely invested in the wrestling product and the talent themselves, there's no excuse for a group of 3 women to be receiving such a poor reaction on a weekly basis. And number 2, is 5-on-5 the right call? Now, it was confirmed on Raw that the Bloodline vs Bloodline Wargames match will be a 5v5. It's been questioned if a 5v5 is truly necessary, as throwing another name on both sides into the mix doesn't make a ton of sense. Whilst The Rock did seem like the obvious option for the new Bloodline if the WWE insisted on a 5v5, The Rock doesn't look to be involved at this stage. One of the main plot points on Raw focused on Seth Rollins, as Sami Zayn tried to recruit him for Wargames. Rollins refused to help, citing that his hatred for Reigns means he has no interest in standing side by side with him again. Now, based on spoilers for next week's Raw, it looks like WWE have penciled in the 2 names on both sides, and we will reveal these names later in the video. Now, there's nothing downright ugly on this show this week, as the show did a decent job in developing top stories ahead of Survivor Series Wargames, and it'll be interesting to see how the next few editions of Raw and SmackDown wrap up the build. What did you guys think of the Red Brand last night? Let us know in the comments down below. Now, let's move on to the news. Our first story looks at the 5th members of the Wargames revealed. Our top story today takes a look at some major potential spoilers when it comes to Wargames. A Raw last night was a double taping, as WWE will be looking to give talent more time off due to the upcoming holiday season. Now, the following contains significant spoilers for next week's show, so be sure to check the description for the timestamps if you want to skip this bit of news. Now, during the taping for next week's show, Solo Sikoa and the new Bloodline interfered on the Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins match before the OG Bloodline made the save for Rollins. This seems to imply that Reed and Rollins will join the Bloodline team for Wargames. The call to have Rollins involved in the Bloodline storyline is going to lead to a ton of criticism, as fans will instantly question if WWE are making the right creative call. What do you guys think of this potential Raw spoiler? Is Rollins being involved in the Bloodline's Wargames match the right move? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, another huge spoiler as a huge return goes down during a Raw taping. Speaking of the Raw taping, a huge return went down that will no doubt reignite the women's division on the Red Brand. Of course, again, this is huge spoilers, so check the description if you want to skip this news. But during the taping, Rhea Ripley made her grand return to WWE television, and it appears that Ripley will be involved in the Women's Wargames match at Survivor Series. Ripley is now wearing a face protector mask, and she has certainly taken inspiration from 2011's Cody Rhodes. Ripley is now reportedly set for a big-time role at WrestleMania 41, and whilst fans have been fantasy booking Ripley winning the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble, her making her return before February 2025 does suggest that WWE may have an alternative winner in mind. Next up, should WWE fine wrestlers for using banned moves? WWE shocked the world last week on SmackDown when they allowed Kevin Owens to deliver a pile driver on Randy Orton. The pile driver has been banned in WWE for some time, and it spoke volumes to the level of trust that WWE, specifically Triple H, has in Owens and Orton. It's unknown if the ban has been lifted entirely, but according to WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry on Busted Open Radio, he suggests that WWE issues fines to anyone who uses the move without permission. I think that they should say, if you do it, it's going to be a $50,000 fine. When I was a kid, the DDT was the thing because, you remember playing wrestling? I'm Jake the Snake, I got the DDT. No, you can't have it, I got it. Because everybody knew what's going to happen when you take the Jake the Snake DDT, it's over. I don't want to see the pile driver become again like a DDT or a super kick. You know what I want to see? I want to see somebody say, hey, I got 50 grand burning a hole in my pocket, I'm going to pile drive your ass. Now, this will be a certified way of stopping anyone from delivering the move, yet in the WWE, most of the key moves and spots are determined before the match is even commenced, so a spot of this nature occurring on the fly is rather unlikely. Next up, Cody Rhodes missing Survivor Series? Could WWE Champion Cody Rhodes be missing Survivor Series? According to Chris Featherstone on X, the American Nightmare was said to be the 5th member on the babyface team for Wargames, but now those plans have changed. Featherstone's report notes that the reigning champion currently does not have a match set for the show. Received some breaking news on my desk from WWE sources that discussions of Cody Rhodes being the 5th person on the babyface Survivor Series team has changed, and as of now, he does not have a match for Survivor Series. There were previous plans to include him on the team. I'll keep you posted with updates. The WWE Champion missing a Big 4 PLE would be a big blow. Rhodes vs Owens 2 seem to be the default match for Survivor Series, but if this report is true, then the Survivor Series card is going to need some heavy reinforcements. It's worth noting that Rhodes' advertised lineup that he releases every month doesn't include Survivor Series. When Rhodes first released this at the start of the month, fans assumed that it was just a mistake, but it's possible that Rhodes has been set to miss the event for some time. There have been criticisms over the lack of WWE title defenses on PLEs, as Rhodes' last PLE defense came back at Bash in Berlin in August. If Rhodes does indeed miss Survivor Series, then this criticism is going to ramp up, and this is something that WWE should look to avoid, especially with Rhodes being basically the face of the entire company. And finally, a frustrated WWE star given bold advice. Now, our final story today takes a look at the latest on Montez Ford and how a certain WWE commentator has offered advice to Ford when it comes to his recent WWE frustrations. Ford has been outspoken about his WWE presentation and booking of late, and according to Booker T on his podcast, he believes that Ford should get rid of that damn cup. Well, get rid of that damn cup, that might help. Montez is one of my guys, I like him, he's an extraordinary talent, but you have to know how to break out, you gotta know how to make your own breaks. Booker is seemingly referring to Ford's gimmick, and whilst Booker is right to an extent, WWE has never truly committed to giving Ford a singles push, so Ford can't make the opportunity come out of nowhere. But there you have it, folks, our look at Raw as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below. I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.